What's up, guys? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about Icon. Icon is probably the OG of interoperability. It was one of the first, or if not the first, crypto to talk about it. Obviously, Polkadot has had immense success by pushing interoperability with their parachains. Icon, I think, has got a shot of doing something quite good in the next bull cycle, but there's quite a lot interesting around this. Probably a lot of stuff that people aren't aware of that I'm going to cover. Also, this FTX event is insane. There's been a really interesting article posted, which I'm going to talk about, along with some potential contagion events around other exchanges that we need to cover, because this Black Swan event could last a while. And again, this is info that some people will may be aware of, but most probably won't. So I'm going to cover that in this video as well. And this will affect your holdings, so pay attention. Before I get into it, if you're new to the channel, you're probably wondering why the hell you should listen to me. You've never heard me before. So these are the first 26 coins that I spoke about when I made this channel, and they were the first 26 coins I held when I made the channel. Had you put in $100 into each of these coins when I release videos about them, and you've done everything wrong, everything possibly wrong as an investor, and ignored them, just down, all the way down into a recession, you'd still have about 8.8k in profit, doing every possible thing wrong. Now, if you'd done everything right, which is basically sell those coins when the markets are flying, which was last year, you could have made 123k. Big difference between the right thing and the wrong thing. These are not the coins I own. Obviously, I sold them. If you want to see the coins I own, go read copymycrypto.com. On that site, I share my portfolio. I share every coin I buy. I share every coin I sell. I have set up tutorials so anyone can get into crypto. Like, there's no barrier to entry. They're the same tutorials I'll pass on to friends and family that want to ask me a million more questions about how to buy and start. And look, I've deep dived these markets for the past 8 years. You know, I as you can see from the spreadsheet, I make good calls, and I'm always adding to my portfolio with coins that I think are quality. Look at Phantom. I said that would 100x. It did 677. When I find the new Phantom, I won't do a Udemy course like I did last time, or go on YouTube spouting about. I'm simply going to go on the site and tell the members. So if you want to get in on the next big crypto, go read the site. Links in the description, guys. So Icon's currently priced about 14 cents, 15 cents. And I honestly think this has got a real shot of like $3. You know, their tech is outstanding. So they've got the blockchain transmission protocol. This is basically their interoperability solution, like their equivalent of what Polkadot do. And it supports cross-chain token swaps, as well as generic messaging features like cross-chain smart contract calls. Almost every blockchain is now connected with Icon's blockchain transmission protocol because it works so damn well. You know, Binance Smart Chain, Near, Harmony, Moonriver, Polkadot, Ethereum. And they've really started growing their ecosystem, the world of Icon, with pretty quality apps. You know, we've got Balance, we've got OMM, they've got NFT platforms. They've started introducing games. It's still, by the way, way behind where I would want it to be. You know, Icon is one of the oldest projects in the space at this point. They probably should be further along. They're probably not as far along as I would like when I look at the overall ecosystem. Definite big improvements over the past year and a half, but generally, I feel like they should be a lot further along. The gaming is really low, and they need to add to their gaming. The NFT ecosystem is not good enough either. The DeFi is growing and has been growing well. But a lot of what they're a lot of what their ecosystem is either exchanges or interoperability protocols. But they have very recently landed a Polkadot Kusama parachain. So Snow won the parachain for Kusama, which means there is a pretty high probability that their ICE network is going to win the Polkadot parachain slot. So this is a really good way for Icon's overall ecosystem to begin to grow. Snow can now Snow serves as a canary network for ICE. Obviously, ICE is the network for the Polkadot ecosystem. So Snow is a long-term incentivized canary network for cutting-edge development backed by the Snow token. So with Snow, you can innovate without having to make guesses on token economics and game theory. They've made it very clear on what the circulating supply and everything's going to be, because it's one-to-one. Snow is one-to-one with Icon. ICE is one-to-one with Icon. But what it does do is show real strength of Icon's BTP messaging. Because Icon's BTP, because of Icon's BTP tech, and the fact that we've already got Icon connected to almost every blockchain, and now Icon's smaller protocols, smaller projects are landing a Kusama parachain, almost inevitably is going to land a Polkadot parachain. Icon, and these are all built via Icon. Icon now looks to be a stronger and stronger and stronger project. And they're like I say, they're one of the OGs of interoperability. Interoperability is vital, big push. And don't forget, Icon work with the Korean government. The Icon actually, I think it was the new president of South Korea made the first NFT on Icon, which was just his signature. But that in and of itself shows the excitement within Korea and certainly within the Korean government of Icon. So there's a lot of hope for Icon, really. And what you would want to see as a growing ecosystem on Snow, a growing ecosystem on ICE, if you start seeing that combined with Icon adding some substantial gaming projects or some substantial NFT projects, this can still do very, very well. It could run back up to $3. I might be understating it, but it depends how well they do, because they never came close to their all-time high from the 2018 cycle. The highest they got was about $3.20. Now, I would make the argument that actually they should exceed that, because then their ecosystem is growing and growing really well. But it massively depends on what they can do with gaming. It massively depends on what they can do with NFTs. They need to make more efforts incentivizing as well for people to come and build on them. If people don't build, the network doesn't grow. If the network doesn't grow, fundamentally it's all for naught. So, but the fact that they've landed a Kusama parachain, the fact that they will land a Polkadot parachain, to me is a big sign Icon are working very, very hard towards significant growth over the next couple of years. So it's something you're really going to want to pay attention to. But tell me if you disagree. Tell me if you agree. Let me know in the comments down below. If you're a returning viewer, subscribe to the channel. Hit that note and hit the bell notification. Certainly with viewers, we're trying to get the returning viewers to subscribe. We've got a hell of a lot of returning viewers, many of whom haven't subscribed yet. So let's get that subscribe rate up, because then I can start bringing in some big-ass founders of projects to come and talk on the channel. And, if there's any founders in particular of any crypto project that you really want to speak to, tell me in the comments. I'll try and reach out to them, because I want to start getting some different content on here as well. And guys, if you want to see the coins I own right now, go read copymycrypto.com. On that site, I share my portfolio. I share every coin I buy and every coin I sell. I have tutorials so that anyone that's new to crypto can get right in. And fundamentally, look, I dive these markets every day. I go on the site, I tell people exactly why I'm getting in on these coins, why I think they can do massive gains, and it takes the research out of it for everyone. They can just copy along. It's literally as simple as that. Copy along, match my profits. And the link, guys, is in the description. Right, there's so much to cover here. So, shout out to BitBoy, because I saw him do a video yesterday, and he posted, and he said he posted an article about Dan Friedberg, regarding FTX. So we've got to have a look at this. So Dan Friedberg, all images of Dan Friedberg have been deleted from the internet. As the scale of fraud mounting into the deca-billions is discovered, we are distracted by the pantomime being played out with Sam Bankman-Fried and his gang of four, but it's all misdirection. The puppet master behind the scenes is Dan Friedberg, FTX legal counsel. Because while the world is leaked stories of drug-fueled sex orgies in the Bahamas penthouse of SPF, Harry Potter math defect, Caroline Ellison, and strange hacks on FTX draining the last remaining value of client funds, we don't see much about Dan Friedberg. He's back at home scrubbing the internet, destroying all evidence and draining any remaining funds. Sources confirm that search warrants are prepared, freezing orders have started, and arrest awaits the finalization of immunity deals with witnesses turned state's evidence. One lawyer close to Friedberg is saying that Friedberg is making the rounds, laying the foundations of the reconstructed narrative that it was the gang of four and he was on the outside. So the way, like the latest hack that bypasses any alerts, is part of the Friedberg God mode backdoor. So Friedberg deliberately chose young millennials who he can manipulate. The baby general counsel for FTX that Friedberg installed, Can's son, is reported as having a breakdown and in tears, and it appears that the true Boy Scout that remains at FTX is general counsel Ryan Miller. He is prosecutor's best bet at piercing the Friedberg narrative. But basically, he used God mode to drain all the funds from the operation, so there is nothing for the victims to go after. He's fabricated evidence, backdated transactions, so empty corporate shells are elevated and get sworn statements from persons who can support the perversion of justice, and pay off anyone you absolutely have to shut them up with an NDA. Invariably they are so financially decimated. He actually used the poker ultimate bet super user scandal, where Friedman was caught red-handed. His coaching of witnesses to give false evidence was leaked, and somehow he was escaped. He didn't even lose his legal license. New Genesis is actually trying to get after him now. They're researching him in great depth. So FTX was hacked to drain remaining funds and delete data. New Genesis have identified what is now confirmed by Huobi that Sam Bankman-Fried was behind the collapse of Luna, UST, and 3 Arrows, and many more, which feature the trademark patterns of uncommercial trades, which are huge loss makers in themselves to trigger the price crash. The market makers do the rest. It looks very bad. There's so much to cover here. I really recommend everyone read the article because it's huge. Like there's great depth to this, but it appears that the FTX situation is particularly bad, even more so than anyone realized, because they're probably behind the biggest hacks, the biggest blow-ups, the biggest market crashes that we've had in the last couple of years. And I have wider concerns. I think Crypto.com is in legitimately real trouble. When you look at what FTX have done, FTX bought the advertising rights to an arena. They've had huge celebrities endorse them. They've endorsed huge sports teams. What have Crypto.com done? Bought an arena, had Matt Damon, huge celebs. They've invested in as a advertiser for tons of sports as well. I'm sure they're on UFC. And then it comes out that Crypto.com's reserves, 20% of its reserves is in Shiba Inu. Good 31% in Bitcoin, good 17% in Ethereum, only 5% in stablecoins. What are you doing? Why don't you have more cash reserves, like stablecoins? And Crypto.com has been tanking over the past few days. I think this is going to tank a lot harder. They've had to pause withdrawals multiple times. If there's a bank run on Crypto.com and they can't, and if they have been spoofing transactions, which I'm not saying they have, but we know FTX cloned transactions. We know FTX effectively created cryptos out of thin air, paper cryptos that were tradable. But if Crypto.com's done that as well, there's going to be a huge problem. This FTX situation is a contagion event. It's a massive contagion event. You cannot ignore it. Huobi and Gate are also under fire for allegedly sharing snapshots using loaned funds. So they both apparently loaned money so that they could add it to their portfolio before sending it back. Huobi released the asset snapshot of their asset reserve, then immediately transferred 10,000 Ethereum back to Binance and OKX deposit wallets. So they probably got a loan to get the 10,000 ETH, to take the snapshot, to send it back. You know, we've seen something similar with Gate. This is concerning. This is concerning. It's one thing I've always said as well with on my site and with everyone. With absolutely everyone. Do not leave your funds on exchanges. Exchange outflows hit historic highs as Bitcoin investors self-custody. They should be self-custodying everyone. Guys, bottom line, get your funds onto decentralized wallets. Get your funds onto a ledger. Get your funds out of exchanges. Exchanges shouldn't be holding your funds anyway. I leave tiny percentage of my money on an exchange so I can buy stuff if I want to buy stuff. But I do not leave anything that would hurt me. If one of these exchanges got hacked and I lost that money, it wouldn't hurt me because it's a tiny fraction of my portfolio. Got to be safe out there, guys, because we're not done with this. This FTX story is going to drag on for weeks. We're going to have Sam Bankman-Fried being chased by the authorities. We're going to have him trying to leave the country in and out constantly, along with the other four. You're going to have more and more stories. We're going to have more and more sleuths checking on Crypto.com, checking on Huobi, checking on Binance, checking on KuCoin, checking on all of these exchanges. And probably the majority of those exchanges are fine. Most of them are using a Merkle tree to show proof of reserves. But even then, if your reserves are 20% of a friggin' meme coin, there's concerns. Be safe out there. This contagion event is not done. Even if we see a market bounce today or tomorrow or over the week, it's going to take one piece of bad news before all of a sudden this market plummets again. So be careful trading as well. But if your funds are on exchanges, they shouldn't be, simply put. Yeah, some really interesting time. Let's see what happens with Sam Bankman-Fried, because he's going to go the way of Do Kwon, and there's going to be a lot of authorities after him. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Take it easy. Bye-bye.